This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where today, whenever you're listening to it, just know that today we are recording on Halloween, which feels especially appropriate for two reasons. One, because the artist we're discussing is especially bewitching. Did you see what I did there, Toby?
Oh, I like what you did there, sir. I like that.
Two, Toby, this will please you to no end. Because it is Halloween, I'm going to watch Clue tonight in your honor.
Watch Clue. Okay.
Do you want to give a clue as to who we're going to be talking about today? And also inject some random line from that movie because I know you know every single one.
I'm not going to do that again because I think I already used up all the ones that I could think of the last time. I love that movie that much. Tonight, actually, we're going to watch Charlie Brown's Halloween special, so we're going to watch that.
I really hope Linus finds the Great Pumpkin. I feel like this is the year.
I really hope he gets rid of the blanket. I need that to happen. That's not going to happen either, but it is what it is. The artist that we're talking about today is definitely bewitching. I mean, in all the good ways. Her voice, to me, is almost hauntingly good. It's amazing. There are certain people out there, when you hear their voice, you can picture a face or a person that would have that voice would belong to. And she's one where it just didn't fit for me. It's like, oh my God, it's like, really? Yeah. Oh, that's coming from her? That is fantastic. And the lady that we're talking about today is Laufey. And I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I think I haven't asked her specifically, but that is the way that I see it pronounced correctly in all the places. So how do you want to roll into this? I guess, when did you first discover her? And what were your initial impressions?
It's funny. So I'm over at your crib. We were recording one weekend, and I was in the speakeasy part, of course. Yeah. And you have her album laying out. It's like, oh man, that's a nice album cover. Look at that. It's sharp. And I thought that it was a retro album because it looks old, looks like from yesteryear, right? So I'm listening to some music on Spotify, and there was a song that was played, and I was like, man, I like that. I really like that. And make sure I put it on my playlist. So when you mentioned like, hey, we're going to talk about her today, that you really wanted to, I went and looked up her album. It was one of the songs off of that album. And I was like, oh, wow. And again, her voice is just hauntingly good. And I don't want that to sound like it's negative at all. Like it is just beautiful. It is that effortless elegance that I feel just screams, listen to me, or I don't care if you're going to listen to me or not. I don't care how many doors you have between me and you. This voice will push through all of those barriers and straight to your soul. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, so we're talking about her song From the Start, which is probably her highest charting single off of Bewitched, which is the album that came out last year. And so I was going down the rabbit hole, listening to various things, and I pulled up one of many videos related to this song, and it's her doing an appearance just sitting at the piano on a YouTube show called The First Take. And I just jotted down some words just related to watching that very sort of... You're just sitting there as a camera, as a viewer, watching her sit at the piano and sing and play. And I wrote, joyous, endearing, charming, and playful. And it just seems like there's so much nuance and subtlety. And I just get this sense, obviously I don't know anything really about her, but that there's so much going on under the surface that seems to come out in her music, both lyrically and when she performs and when she sings. And it's like you just get a glimpse into some of that charm and you're like, huh, she's probably a fascinating human.
Yeah, especially for someone as young as she is to have such a, I mean, I know these artists. I mean, she is very popular. I mean, she won a Grammy in 2024, for the second album, for Bewitched, the album that we're talking about right now. So obviously she's got people around her. She's got a lot of attention, but it really seems like her style is pretty well defined. Even all the way down to her dress. If you look at the songs that she's done, the videos that she's done, it's like her outfits are curated in a way. It's like, I don't see a lot of that. I don't see a lot of that. And it's not even showing a lot. It's actually the reverse, but it sticks out so much compared to everything else that's out here today.
And I just learned today that I had seen the video with her sister, her twin. She's got a twin sister, and she wrote a song called Best Friend, which is also on Bewitched. And the video for that is fantastic. If you haven't checked that one out, listeners, please just, because anybody who has a sibling, whether it's a twin or not, you can absolutely relate to this song and to this video. It's great. But her sister, Unia, is actually the one who now is kind of responsible for all that creative stuff, doing her fashion, doing her. And so I just think, how great must it be to be able to do that with somebody you're that close to, but then also, to kind of tap into their talent in this way that allows you to showcase your own persona. I don't know. I just think there's something really beautiful about that.
I agree. The other thing I got from listening to her music was the complex simplicity of it, if that makes sense.
It's so funny. Yes, 100%.
Because you're like, the start of this album, and we're not doing a review of the album, but the start of her album is not a lot of instrumentation, but it is a lot of harmony that is going on. And it is like, oh my God, for people that love harmony, that love music like that, that is, and if you are interested in jazz, there's certainly a lot of elements of jazz in there, but it's also, the bossa nova is in there. There's a little bit of, like, the lyrics are current, very modern. Yeah, very modern. So it's different. And I think that her popularity, not just where she's from, but here in the States, and obviously, I mean, she won a Grammy, so people they appreciate it. They know all about her.
I forget what phrase you used, but I'd written down beautiful simplicity. And I think you use complex simplicity, right? So there's a lot going on under the surface. I mean, she's an amazing musician besides being an amazing vocal talent. I mean, she got a presidential scholarship to Berkeley. So clearly she knows some things. And you watch her play anything, whether it's piano, whether it's guitar, whether it's cello, it's like clearly she's beyond gifted. And to find this middle ground, to me, it feels like this trifecta of classical and jazz and pop, and to be able to combine all of those into this modern sounding classic sound is just, I think it's what helped her speak to a new generation, because I don't know how many people are going back. I mean, maybe the young kids are going back and listening to Sinatra and some of the singers from the American Songbook, but are they going back and listening to Ella and Billie Holiday and some of those? I don't know. But maybe this opens the door for some of the younger generation to rediscover some of those amazing pioneers in the genre.
She's almost like a gateway drug in a way, because I think that
yes, yeah.
So she's like a sonic gateway drug, because I think, just like you said, there are, for people that say, I get so frustrated when I hear this, when people talk about, like, hip hop. There's no real good hip hop being made right now, or there's no, and you could substitute hip hop with, a lot of other genres where people are just not paying attention, or enough attention. There is good country being written right now, being created. There is good pop music. There's good jazz. There's good, everything that's being created. You just got to look. This is one artist, though, that she actually, snuck past the gatekeepers, in my opinion. And as long as we can stay away from that, as long as she can stay away from having to really, really, hard edge define what her music is, she'll be great. Because I don't want that to happen. Like, whatever she's doing, I say, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Whatever you want to do.
this idea of her sneaking past the gatekeepers or something, because she's got a quote. She said, in the classical world, which is where she got her foundational star. I mean, she's playing with the Iceland Symphony at 15. So, there's a long, steeped history of just learning and whatever. But that she said, in the classical world, it's expected that you follow tradition and stick to the script. And I mean, we've got a good friend we'll just refer to as Primal, who is steeped in that class, is a horn player.
Sure.
And if you knew this human, you would not say classically trained trumpet player. Mm-hmm. You would say, I could see this guy as a jazz cat. I could see him, for God's sake, his nickname is Primal.
Right.
But that's the path he ended up taking because, you can at least eke out a living as a symphony and orchestra performer. We all know that jazz cats aren't making any money. And that's why I loved her quote, is because in that world, everything is so stringent and you have to stick to, there's no room for, it's all about the perfection of the performance, which is the opposite, I think, of, for me personally, what music can be when you let some of those rough edges and mistakes and taking risks and all of that leaning in happen. And that's why I love that she was like, I'm going to move away a little bit from this because it allows me to explore things on a larger scale.
I think there are a lot of practices, whether it be sports or whether it's in music or even in business, where people are just really stuck to the old ways of doing things. And there's, I can definitely appreciate tradition and celebrating tradition, but I can also, say that, hey, things change. Baseball should not last 8 hours for a game, right? This is
Let's put a runner on second and call it a day, okay?
What are we doing? Let's come on, let's wrap this up. We don't have that kind of time. And if you look at tennis, right? What the impact that Serena had on tennis, mm-hmm. Just her attitude, just her mentality, when was the last time, that you saw this many, just that kind of impact on a sport that was that tight-laced?
Yeah.
I think that she...
I think Agassi kind of also had a little bit of that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's plenty of examples, but for a female, to do it, I think it's a little bit different, right? So
completely.
So I like that, and I think it just makes the game stronger. It makes the music stronger. Anyway, I really like this song a lot. I think her lyrics were fantastic. And there's a theme to me with a lot of the love songs that she does. And I know another reason why I really like her. She's a hopeless romantic, hopeless romantic.
Yes. It's like there's this romantic nostalgia to all of it. So I'm going to ask you a question, Toby. I feel like certainly in this day and age when, we are just... There's not a lot of love being shown in the world right now. And listening to this felt really good from that healing standpoint. It's like a warm hug. It just sort of envelops you. Her voice, all the production, everything, the kind of the nostalgic feel of it. I know you talked in a previous episode how at a certain point in your life, listening to Amy Winehouse kind of was therapeutic in a way for you. But I'm curious, what is a song that feels, whether, past, present, whatever, feels like healing to you? It feels like a warm hug or just sort of wraps you up in that way.
There's a band called Khruangbin. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And they have a song off their last
good luck
album.
Spelling it, but...
Yeah, my God, yeah. The song off their last album, the album's called Ala Sala. The song is called A Love International. That song does it for me every time. And
love it.
It does it for me so much to the point, I won't just play that song. I'll play the song before it, right? Just because I want to prepare myself. Want to prepare myself, and then I let that song play because I really feel in that song. I mean, there aren't any words that are sung in that song at all, but I think that the song still speaks. It still says so much, and the guitar playing is like they're answering each other back. And I felt like at the end, I was like, the guitar is singing at the end of the song. The guitar is singing. It's speaking to me. I love that. It's a hopeful song, right? That's what I listen to. It's a hopeful track. It's the reason why I'm listening to it. And I feel in the same way when I'm listening to her, it's like, when I listen to Laufey's album or, this song in particular, it's like, man, it really feels like it just reminded me of like when I was 20 and thinking about how I envisioned love to be the perfect relationship, and, pining over someone and them, not feeling the same way you did. Like it was great.
Lyrically, it is that pining away, that unrequited love. It's all of that. Even though musically it feels like that kind of old-timey, for lack of a better phrase, I mean, lyrically, it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And I know she's mentioned being a big Taylor fan. In fact, she said one of the things that she appreciates about Taylor is how she brought pop and country to, mainstream audiences, and that's what she's hoping to do with jazz. And I couldn't help but when I listen to From the Start from a lyrical standpoint, I go back like to 2008, and I think of Taylor doing "You Belong to Me." She's cheerleader, I'm on the bleachers, you should be with me. And this line from the start, right? She's so perfect, blah, blah, blah. Like,
right.
Stop it, right? Like,
right.
Come on now, what are we doing?
Right.
Why do you not see what's going on right in front of you? And we've all been there.
I love that line. And in fact, so I watched her Tiny Desk concert. And if you haven't seen it,
I have not seen that.
You have to check that out. That is a master's class on how you do that. I've seen a lot of people attack the Tiny Desk. I've seen a ton of different ways to do it. Some people just bring a lot of stuff. I mean, the Tiny Desk is overwhelmed with with everything. But then it's
the hoarder desk at that point.
Right. It's like, come on, dude, stop it. It's too busy. It's too much. But man, she brought a string quartet with her. And she played this song from the start she played the guitar. So she's playing the guitar. I'm like, my mind is blown because I'm like, okay, I knew she played the cello. Her playing this, I'm like, what is going on? And just killed it. Just really killed it. But man, it's good stuff.
So I just learned today that there's a movie coming out in December she did a performance with the LA Philharmonic at the Hollywood Bowl. And so there's the same guy who recorded Taylor's movie version of the Eras Tour recorded this performance. And so it's Laufey's Night at the Symphony. It's supposed to drop, I think, on December 6th.
That's
right?
Gonna be fantastic.
And so, like, just imagine on a winter night, you and I are in cold weather climates. It's going to get dark at 3 p.m. And so we could just turn on the fireplace, put this on the big screen with a nice sound system and just a nice beverage and just relax and just enjoy what I'm sure is going to be despite the fact that she's playing to, throngs of people, will feel like an intimate performance with a unique talent. And I think that's it's how often do we get to look forward to some of these things that we know are going to feel good for the soul? And I think that's part of the beauty that is really engaging about her work, is that it just feels good for the soul. And in this divisive environment, it's just so nice to be able to lean into things like this.
I totally agree. So I always try to, I don't know, it's where my mind goes, right? Where I always try to compare her to other artists, right? And maybe not necessarily stylistically, but in some way, like, what does her music have? What's the impact on someone, on me, her music on me, and who's had a similar impact. And I would say that Adele is another person's voice who,
for sure,
when I hear her singing, I feel that if I close my eyes, I feel like she's talking directly to me, right? So when I hear Laufey's voice, I'm like, man, I would hope this dude just got a clue. Like, who is this dude that I can't help but to think, like, dude, don't go to New York.
Buy a vowel. Figure this out.
What are we doing? Call a friend. You can't, don't let this go. Come on. I mean, it's that's how I feel about it.
100%. I think the other artists, and I think she's cited both Adele and the artist I'm going to speak of, Norah Jones, as being influences along with Taylor. When I remember very distinctly when Nora's first of all, I didn't realize that she had done some stuff with the Peter Malick group back in the day, which is also fantastic. But when her first, big album came out, and Nightingale is probably one of my favorite tracks from that album. And I would just sit and I would listen, and it felt like I was literally 6 feet away. Just the way it's recorded, it's just so beautiful. And her voice, it just feels like it's so present. And it's like I can reach out, and it's like an ethereal thing that suddenly takes shape. And to me, first of all, I want to give kudos to whoever's recording some of these things, because that's can be hard to do. It is hard to do. But it's also easier when the vocal talent is so incredible that you're like, oh, okay, I just have to capture what I'm hearing somehow from this room. So, yeah.
There's an album, I'm not sure exactly what the name of the album was, but it was Nat King Cole, and he had strings behind him playing, right? And it's like, oh my God, I mean, it's fantastic. And there's another album by jazz artist Charlie Parker, again, with strings behind him. And I remember listening like, oh my God, I mean, it just kind of gives you chills. Like,
yeah,
when I heard Laufey play the Tiny Desk, it gave me that feel, because the strings are, I'm like, oh my God, not just, I mean, just so organic. You got to love it. You know, it's just a fantastic feel. But, you know, that feel's not for everyone. Or some people, to me, they kind of, I think she's a hot artist. And what I mean by that is, you know, blazing new trails, doing her thing. But I can already see people trying to nitpick and trying to, you know, force her into this box that she doesn't necessarily want to be in. Like, Adele sings the type of music, right, that is like, it feels lyrically, sonically, it feels like honest music. It feels like music that can, you know, people should be dressed up to listen to her perform. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
But when you hear her on an interview, she is just like everybody else, right? She'll let it go. But she couldn't give, you know, 2 cares, right? She's her. And I love that about Adele. Now, Laufey is not Adele, right? But at the same point, her music, I think there are a lot of people that, again, they're trying to box her in. And it's like, you don't have to do that. So here's my question to you. Genre classification.
I hate it. Let me just state that I already hate it. Just as a thing. But go ahead.
Well, my question was, does it help or hurt musicians? That's my question. Does genre classification help or hurt musicians?
I think it's both.
Okay.
And I know this is kind of a cop-out. I think it helps if people are looking for a specific genre, like I want to discover a new artist in XYZ genre, then it helps to be in that lane. I think it hurts because we've all known artists and bands and whatever that deviate from what everybody has said their lane is. And then for some reason, people think that they own the artist, and they're like, how dare you? How dare you create art outside of the lane that I put you in? And so I think that's where it really becomes a hindrance. And I think, you know, we just released our first single, right? And it is, as our producer said, well, you're rapping, so it's clearly hip hop. And he's 100% right. But I think, you know, with some of with the beautiful harmonies that you're doing in the chorus and some of the other builds that happen in that song, like, it's not just hip hop, or it is, right? Like, does the genre help us, right? Because if I'm a 20-year-old human searching up new artists in hip hop and our stuff comes up, I don't think it fits into the current landscape of the genre, but it still fits in the genre. So is it helping? Is it hurting? I don't know. And ultimately it feels very limiting, because music is music. And I think that some of the most interesting music crosses over multiple genres, sometimes in the same song. And that's what makes it fascinating and beautiful. So, Laufey, is it classical? Is it jazz? Is it pop? Yes.
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you on both the help and the hurt, but I think I finally landed where I think I need to land. And I think it hurts more than it helps. And here's the reason why I say that. I'm at a doctor's office recently, right? Just getting checked out. Nothing serious. Nobody need to worry. I'm all good.
Okay.
Toby's good.
All
Toby's
right.
good.
Whew.
All right.
Okay.
But they have serious radio playing. And It is.
Okay. Again, I thought you were like doctor's office, like Sirius radio playing. Like, if you have cancer, this is what you know. You meant like Sirius, like XM,
Like Sirius.
right, satellite
exactly.
radio.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Sirius is playing, and they were on the John Mayer's radio station. So John Mayer apparently has a channel, and on this channel, he's like, "Look, you want to know what kind of music I listen to? The genre is good. I listen to good music.
I love that.
I love it too.
that.
I love it too." So then so it was songs from everyone. I mean, there was no particular decade the music was from. There was no particular, style. It was just everything. He's like, "Dude, this is on my Get Down playlist. Check it out." And I was like, I absolutely love that. And that is why I think it hurts. I think that radio is essentially dead, right? There's a lot of people that listen to radio, and I feel like the stations have killed it because they continue to just play these same 20 songs over and over and over again. When are you going to hear on a pop station? When are you going to hear Laufey? When are you hearing her? You're not.
Good question.
You're not hearing her. And how many albums has she sold? This woman won a Grammy.
Yeah.
How many streams has she put? You said didn't she set a record for that many, for a new artist as far as how many streams I think she had? I want to say. Yeah. So we're missing out because we're away from diversification. We've set up these systems that prevent music diversity from happening. Our fondest memories of MTV was literally watching one video after the other.
Yes.
And even though they did have shows like Rap City and things like that, well, that was BET, but even though there are, Yo MTV Raps is what I'm talking about. So even though they did have shows that, were very specific to the genre, the overall programming, from MTV's heyday was just song after song after song after song after song. And you might hear this type of artist, we're rocking out, and you might hear an R&B right after, you might get to rap after that.
And also think about back in the day, before MTV started siloing all this stuff, we would watch all the things. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch Yo MTV Raps. I'm going to watch Headbangers Ball. I'm going to watch. So now you're forcing me to watch multiple shows just to see the content that I used to be able to just watch in succession. And I think I was just at a big international conference for the last few days. And one of the fun things they did is they had Singo, right? So they play tracks and, you match your bingo card to the song being played. So lots of conversations on music. And so you ask people, what do you listen to? What do you like? And one of the events was at the Rock Hall. Almost every single person said, well, I like everything. And so why are we so concerned? I mean, I don't know many people who are like, I only listen to XYZ genre. So the fact that we are being kind of spoon-fed this idea that, well, I'm going to curate this really narrow playlist on a terrestrial radio station and this is all you get to hear is really it's a disservice to all of us who just truly enjoy music of all kinds. I heard Rick Rubin talk about this, actually, because one of the reasons he loves radio or old school radio is because it used to serve up songs that he would not be exposed to. Mm-hmm. And I think that has gone away a little bit. I think you can kind of get some of it. I will sometimes, late at night, if I'm working or whatever, I'll just queue up a radio station from Sweden or whatever, just to see what's being played. But we're missing that joy of discovery. Because now the discovery is self-discovery, which means I have to listen to a whole lot of bad stuff on Spotify to find something that might actually be interesting. So I'm just curious, listeners, if there's anything out there that you have found as a sort of new discovery tool or a way for us to discover new music in any genre that isn't clearly prescribed, I'd be really interested in hearing that.
We talk all the time, right? Weekly, where you're sending me clips, I'm sending you a clip of a new artist, like, yo, check this out, And we do the same thing with books. And I was thinking about that, man. Thank God, I love comic books, right? That is my thing. I love comic books. And my boy Brandon really got me hip to certain writers that write, they're just exceptional writers. And I was asking him, like, hey, this comic book was good. This comic series was good. And then it just went to crap. He was like, who did what changed? And I said, well, it was this other writer, but I love this hero. And he's like, follow the writer. Follow the writer. You follow the writer, you're in good shape. And I remember in high school listening to my English teacher talk about books that were just classics, and she was like, hey, check this out. We're going to read this book. And man, it ain't a comic book. I don't want any part of it. Like I'm good.
Was it Beowulf? Because that's a long one.
It was not. Thank God. I read some of the best stories in high school. Some of the stories that just stick with me. Stories like A Separate Peace, Flowers for Algernon, Ethan Frome. These are stories that like I have a distinct memory of them. And these are books that like way afterwards, I bought them again. Like, I don't know where those books are, but I don't know what happened to the book I had in high school. I probably gave it to my sister. She was in the grade before mine. So, but I bought them again just to make sure I had those books in the house because, and I just feel like those are not stories that I would have read without being pushed to read them. And so that's why I said that without the genre classification thing, I think that it hurts more than it helps. You don't know if you're going to like something or not unless you actually try it. And food is the same way. Food is the exact same way. If you have to, when it comes to wine, for example, you drink more wine than I do, but you could speak intelligently about wine. Like, what is it that you like? What kind of you like this? You like sweet? You like dry? And you could curate an experience for someone that would who said, maybe I don't like wine. I'm not crazy about wine, but after talking to someone that is experienced with it, like, you know what? Maybe I do like wine.
Yeah. I have a couple of thoughts. One, I can't say I loved any of the books you just referenced. and Flowers for Algernon is such a sad gut wrench. I'm gonna shed some tears after this podcast because it just hits me. This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs.
The holidays are in full swing, and Abercrombie Kids has everything on their wish list. Check it all off during their Get Gifting sale. Start with festive outfits like sweaters and dresses for holiday parties. Then finish up with cozy sweatshirts and sweatpants made to mix and match all winter and beyond. Get gifting with Abercrombie Kids in the app, online, and in stores.
So I have a question for you, Toby.
Yeah.
What is a song that was teed up to you, maybe from a genre you wouldn't normally listen to, although I know you listen to pretty much everything, that you were pleasantly surprised? It was sort of a revelation to you, like, oh, wow, this is, I wouldn't have found this on my own, but this is pretty cool and I dig it.
Yep. You ready?
I'm ready. Bring it.
All right. Song is called Falling in Love at a Coffee Shop by Landon Pig. That song right there. I don't know if you've ever heard it before.
No. Well, I don't know, honestly. The title sounds familiar. I'm not familiar with the artist. So
yeah. Now, I really enjoyed this song. I really do. It's just a very innocent type of song, has an innocent type of vibe. Obviously a guy expressing his emotions toward a woman and falling in love at a coffee shop that he's meeting her. So as a person who loves coffee, it really spoke to me on numerous levels. But yeah, man, it's just, and there's different versions of it. There's one that's actually has more strings, more orchestration.
Yeah.
But I remember the first version I heard, and I'll tell you, the first time I heard it, I was like, this sounds like a song that they would play on one of these.
At a coffee shop?
No.
Sorry,
I wasn't going to say that. You're fine. You couldn't resist it, could you? No. So
I couldn't. It was you teed it up and then you paused, and I was like, all right.
It's a song that would be played on one of those TV shows that was on maybe on the CW, like one of these, right?
Yes, yes.
But I pay attention, as a musician, I pay attention to that music all the time. If it is a show, I pay attention to the music in the background. There are several times where I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. What's that playing? Like, what is that? And at times I feel like, like somebody, whoever is picking the music is doing their job because they picked the right music for that scene. Yeah. But that song is perfect for something like that. It's for two young people falling in love and whatnot. But Landon Pig. What about you?
I think it's similar, and maybe two teenagers falling in love or two people falling in love, but maybe with an opposite. Well, it's an undetermined outcome, although it seems this is the benefit of having a 20-something-year-old daughter. And, I'm sure that your son tees up a lot of stuff for you that you wouldn't normally discover. But Reckless Driving, Lizzie McAlpine and Ben Kessler. If you've not heard this song, I want you to, after we're done today, Tobe, keep your headphones on, just cue this song up, and it's an experience. Like I literally just got chills thinking about like how this song hits you, especially the first time. And it is such a, I don't even know the word, but it is love in a bottle, and how, two people's approaches can be so different. And I'll just leave it there. But yeah. So that was one where I probably never would have discovered. And of course, it led me down a path to kind of discovering Lizzie McAlpine and really liking her stuff. And just, it's like, oh, okay. And so I love when people are like, go check this out. And then I can just go down a rabbit hole and discover new stuff.
It's interesting. So I was thinking about this show that I was recently watching. And that show had a song by Remy Wolf on there. Right. And I like Remy Wolf a lot. Her new album, Big Ideas, I'm digging it. And so I was like, man, it made me make sure I gave this show a chance. There's a new Kristen Bell show, Nobody Wants This. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's a good show. It's pretty funny. But I feel like shows like that are doing the good work, because whoever is deciding what music they put on the show is making sure that it is very diverse and different. It's just, diverse and different. I'm being redundant, but you know what I'm saying. It's being very different, but it fits the particular scene. But there are so many times, man, my Shazam button is worn out. I'm like, yo, what is that? That song right there, what is that? And it's unfortunately, that has replaced the radio. Because I get tired of hearing the same song every time. I don't do it. Which makes me only want to play the music that I already know about, which is my playlist. Luckily, they have the algorithm out there kind of discovering new music and new tunes for me to listen to. But then there's that.
So I want to go back to, it gets into some of the wit of Laufey. And this is where I think people who are listening and thinking this just fits under a traditional kind of American songbook genre are missing, like, because it only takes a brief listen to the words that she's saying to realize that she's a very modern artist. And she's speaking to she's a 25-year-old woman who's very clearly speaking to her peers and that life experience. But going back to that best friend song, because I think I know your brother, Toby.
Yeah.
We spent time together, and I feel like this is a lyric that I could have heard either one of you say. I promise that I love you, even with that hairdo. I'm sorry I made fun of it. It's not your fault. It looks like shh.
Okay. Let me talk about my brother real quick. Let me talk about my brother. This is,
oh, please do.
This
please
is perfect.
Do.
This is perfect. So way back when, my boy
talking
Brandon.
About his hairdo?
No, listen. Way back when, my Brandon, who's my other brother, right?
Yeah.
Brandon calls us up, says, "Yo, y'all want to be in this fantasy league, fantasy football league?" I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Everybody's got to pick names, right? All right, so I picked my name, right? We're the Renegades. Whatever. Jason picked a team called.
I can't wait.
Toby is balding. That's the total. That was the title. That was the name of his team. Now, Joe, this football, this group of people, they don't all know each other, but they were like, God damn, this dude. Oh my God, dude. It was terrible. The next year, Jason was invited again to participate in said football league, right?
Okay, yeah. Clearly you were not the commissioner.
Right. Checking for entertainment, right. The next year, Jason created the team and said, look, don't use that same damn name you used last year. I don't care what your record was. Jason's like, I got you. I will not use the same name that I used last year. So again, I'm the Renegades. This dude picks Toby's Still Balding, right? That's his team name. That's the team name. All right. I will say that in a classic form, right, of the lessons that life teaches us, the third year, they ask him back again, and he's like, his team name's like, Now I'm Balding. Karma.
Yeah. I was like, I know Jason. He's also bald.
Oh, dude, it was classic. It was classic.
Man, karma, it's going to get you. It just does.
Oh, man. Dad and Father Time, man. It gets you every time, bro.
That dude probably still had hair if he hadn't been that way. That is.
My goodness.
So you can relate. You can relate.
Course.
We can all, any of us who have siblings can relate.
Of course. I mean, that's what makes the relationship that good, right? But you can't have that relationship with hardly anybody else. I mean, like you and Primal, y'all are basically brothers. I mean, that's your dude. He knows so much.
For better or for worse. We know so all the things. Yeah.
Oh, man. So one thing that I like about this album, I always pay attention to album art, right? I pay attention to that. That's a big thing for me. So here's my question for you, because I really like the cover of this album. I like it's different because it's you won't forget it. I'll put it that way. You won't forget it. I mean, at least I don't. It's like, oh man, yeah, look at that. It is like, it looks like from yesteryear, but at the same time, it is what it is. Can you think of maybe an album or two that you had to have in vinyl? You had to have the vinyl version just because of sheer art. Like I look at this, like I'm about to buy it so I can have it at the home because I like it that much. But, can you think of an example like that? Yeah.
And I want to talk about this album specifically first. There's a classic beauty to it, right? So I feel like look, we've talked about this before. We have seen, Herb Alpert's album covers.
Oh, yeah.
Whipped Cream and Other Delights is
My goodness.
It's a beautiful album cover in some ways. And modern artists are typically leaning into the sexuality of whatever. If I'm a good looking human, then I'm going to put that out there for the world to see.
Right.
And I think what Laufey is doing is similar, but in that sort of old school, iconic fashion. So it's not over the top, hitting you over the head with, innuendo and sexuality, but it's like there's a classical beauty to it. Getting back to how she's crafted her outfits and just sort of her persona in the world from an artistic standpoint, I think that's what's going on with her album design as well, which I think it's just so well done. For me personally, I think if I'm going to buy a new album that I kind of have to own on album or on vinyl, what I've typically done is I have to love the artist, want to be able to play the album start to finish because that's the joy of vinyl. And it also has to have some sort of beautiful artistic sensibility to it. And for me, I think it's Florence. I bought How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful, the double disc, double vinyl set. And then when Dance Fever came out, same thing. So there's just, I don't even know that it's iconic in any specific way, but there's such an attention to detail to the entire art form. And I think sometimes you can get a sense of that from the way that specific artists will create their videos. And so there's an attention to detail and sort of telling a bigger story with some of the visual aspects to it. I think Florence is one of those artists. Yeah. How about you?
But I agree with you. I think being able to listen to an album all the way through, I think, is important. And it's funny, those Herb Alpert albums, those always caught my attention. I'm sure I wasn't the only one listening to them, buying those records wherever I saw them. I would say Khruangbin again. I think that album, the cover is cool. I think, I think there might, some areas of opportunity, I guess, with the cover, but the music just speaks so much to me that it's just like, dude, stop it. Like it's a wrap. It's over. It's not that many albums nowadays I feel that I can listen to from front to back. It's just, you add that caveat to it. Yeah. And it's just not like Remy Wolf's album. I can do that with. Khruangbin, I can do that with. I think one of the best album covers I can remember, at least one that really made a define, it was just like, okay, I remember when I first saw it and actually got it, was Common's Like Water for Chocolate. I thought that album cover was perfect. I thought it was fantastic. But, I didn't really, that's not my favorite Common album. It's like not even close to my favorite Common album. So that kind of took away from it. This might be actually a conversation to have again with two designers in a bar, right? Yeah. Those guys again, especially in this day and age now where vinyl is more prevalent than what people would have thought. I think that this is a question that's coming up. It's like, look, let's make sure this album cover is tight because people might want this in vinyl and we're going to want to give it to them. We got to give them something to look at. Like
back in the day when you would stare at the vinyl and read the lyrics while you were playing. And I think getting back to your idea of genre stuff, this is where Laufey staying essentially within a loose parameter of genre, I can turn this on in the speakeasy and it will play and it is the perfect mood. It's the perfect backdrop. It's the perfect thing to hone in and like pay attention to and listen to. But you're not going from one genre to the next and it's disruptive. It's a true album in that let it rip. Let's just let it go. And if the needle starts over again, that's fine. Like because the vibe is still good. And it's beautiful in that way. And I think that's maybe some of the things that we're missing from the current industry standard is, and we just did it, release a single, work on the next single, and then it becomes an EP. And then at some point you have an album. And I'm excited because we have a kind of a plan for how it all gets together in its totality. Sure. And there's different connecting points, throughout the album. And I think some of that gets lost if you're working for a big record company and they're like, I want to hear a single and here's the next single. We lose some of that cohesiveness that comes from producing an album. And I think that's what Laufey is doing so well is just, there's such a beautifully crafted sonically, visually, the videos, her performance. Anytime I see her live, it's like you wouldn't even know that there's not a huge difference, if at all, between what's been recorded in the studio and what she's doing when she's on a stage or on any platform.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because that's one of my key things. Like, if you can sing, then sing. But, let's hear it. And I don't mind a little bit of variation. I don't mind,
Sure.
A lot of variation per se, depending on the song. If you're performing it live, I get it. Like, my goodness, you've probably done this song hundreds and hundreds of times,
Right.
and now
have some fun with it.
It's like, and you want to have some fun. You want to change it up a little bit. I mean, it's your damn song, so you do as you please, right? You don't need my permission. But there's something about being able to recreate what was done in the studio on stage with little variation, so that that it's live, and you're like, damn, that is good. Like, that's how I feel about Adele. Like, I feel like Adele brings it. That's how I feel about like a Bruno Mars performance. Like, if it's Silk Sonic on stage, I feel like you're getting it, and they're sweating, and that is it. Is the performance putting everything they can out there, And I feel like she's one of those artists, is just like, what you hear is what you're going to get, and better. That's perfect. That's wonderful. We need more of that,
You just hit on, you're talking about Bruno and sweating, and it's like, I'm performing this song. And so I'm leaning into performing that song, which means I wrote the song, and every time I perform it, I still feel what I wrote. So I'm leaning into the feelings that existed when I created it. And so I'm just recreating that same emotion. And I feel like that's what Laufey is doing. When you watch her perform, she's just as engaged and intentional about communicating and conveying all the emotion that she was when that song was created. And I think that's the mark of every great artist is, I don't care if I performed it 3 times or 3 million times. Okay, 3 million's a lot. But each time it matters. And each time I can channel that place inside of me that I went to create this, and I want you to feel that too. And I think that's the beauty of what she's doing.
Sometimes when people want to emulate something they've seen before, and people are trying to help them emulate, the final product that they've been able to do themselves, and they're trying to help somebody else, they'll send them a template, right? They'll send them a template, which is great. And then in music, we have sound designers, right? That try to put that all together. And it's like, look, we want to create something that feels like it was done in the 70s. This was Silk Sonic did, right? They used the same old machines that from yesteryear, put those in the studio. And I feel that true artists that they break through the gatekeepers, the good writers, the people that make sure the music is just hits it. I think people like Sabrina Carpenter, I think Taylor, I'm thinking Adele, I'm thinking Laufey, I'm thinking these type artists, they do a really good job at being able to send an emotional template, right? It's emotional design, emotional sound design, if you will, or whatever, to make you feel like they're feeling when they wrote the song. I mean, you immediately connect to the person that you were in that situation with. I mean, so she's writing a song about her sister, you think about your sibling or a really close friend. If she's writing a song, if Laufey is writing a song about someone that she cares about that is trying to go to New York and she wants them to stay in LA with her, you feel like you remember that story about the person that you really cared about that move. And I said on a couple of episodes ago, really good musicians are like empaths. They that's what they want you to feel, what they're feeling. And I think it's an amazing talent. And if one can really get dialed into that and not veer left or right, but really just do what they want to do, I think the final product, I think, is amazing. And we've just talked, we talked about Sabrina Carpenter. We're talking about her. I mean, totally, Laufey and Sabrina Carpenter are so different. They're so different. But at the same time, man, strong female voices that really get their point across and do it in their own way. And it's great.
And not all that different when you really get down to it, other than the style of music that gets created. All right, last question, because I know we got to get out of here.
Yep.
You brought up genres. What's one genre of music? So Laufey's bringing back kind of this American standard type vibe, and that's not the best way to explain it, but jazz and whatever. What's one genre that you're like, man, I wish this would come back?
I would say like that Charlie Parker type jazz, that style of jazz, like for that time period, I thought was wonderful. And I guess my second answer, that's like part A, here's part B. I would say like backpacker hip hop, like the boom bap. Like I would love, like you have to understand, like in the hip hop community, we would have ciphers. And a cipher is just a circle of cats that would get together. And it's like, okay, the show was over. We went in, we saw the show, we saw the lights, we saw all that stuff. Now these are hip hoppers that get around together. And maybe the headliner for a local show was there, came, it's like, okay, what's up, y'all? How you doing? Cool. Hey, who's got a verse? Yeah. And you would come with a verse prepared or verses prepared, and everybody would spit their stuff. They would go around the circle and have a cipher, or we would just totally do freestyle. Like, I don't see that right now. And there's a couple of reasons why I don't, I'm not going to shows like that anymore, but man,
Sure.
I would love to see that. I would absolutely love that, because to me, that is like church and the testimony part at church. Like where people get up and they talk about what they're going through and why they feel like they need prayer. In this case, it's like, hey, this ain't church, but I'm going to talk to you why maybe I need prayer, or you better pray for the person who is my op, right? who I'm targeting, whatever. This is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I like that. What about you?
I mean, you know that I'm a sucker for the funk. I don't need Parliament to come back and some of that, even the Bootsy Zap stuff. I'm good. But what I miss is I'm going to create a genre that doesn't exist, Toby. Well, it does, but they're adjacent. So I love funk. I love kind of the Latin flavor, whether it's a bossa nova. I just love Latin rhythms in general. And then I love the New Orleans sound. So going back to, Professor Longhair or Dr. John or Galactic now, like there is some sort, I think there's a rhythmic sensibility that is, that gets the booty shaken a little bit, that exists in all three of those genres. That is, I'm sure it's present in modern music, and but I think I'd like to see some people lean into that a little bit more. And I don't know what that would be, but that the idea of that gets me excited.
Yeah, I like that. Well, look, a shameless plug. Listen, if you've gotten to this part of the program, we would really appreciate you checking out our single, Write the Rest. Group name is Silver Foxes. Really would like you guys to check it out. It is grown folk music. It is grown folk music.
I like that.
And I think about it long and hard. Like, what genre is this? You talked about it earlier, right? It's like, well, what is
good.
This?
That's what I'm going to take away from what.
It's good. It's good. But I think we did. I'm really happy that we accomplished the mission in just putting our emotions on paper, our emotions in musical content, talking about how we really feel. And we've got a lot of people listening to it today. Today's our debut day, right?
Today was the launch day. By the time you're listening to this, I'm sure that it will have blown up in the multiverse and, all the streams and whatever. But and it's the first of many. So we've got plenty of songs in the works.
Buckle up.
Really love this one, and actually really excited about some of the other ones we're working on. So
absolutely.
Buckle up.
Absolutely. Buckle up.
Tell them how to find us on the socials for this podcast.
That's right. Well, hey, we are at Riffs on IG. So go to Riffs on Riffs. You will see clips. You will see information about what we're doing, the stuff that we're all about. It's a fun place to hang out. We love, speaking to listeners of the show. So you want to post a question, you want to send us something. Hey, we respond back. We ain't got no pride, right? We ain't got no pride. We will respond back. You hit us up, we will respond back, as long as you're respectful and tasteful and all that other good stuff. So yeah, check us out there. And you can also go to riffsonriffs.com, and we have our site up there as well. So thank you.
And if you would please, whatever platform you're listening on, give us some reviews. An actual review is helpful because it lets other people discover the show. Give us a rating. Hopefully you'll give us all of the stars, but, whatever feels appropriate to you because we want to be authentic. But mostly just keep listening. We appreciate you. And we'll catch you next time. So get us up out of here, Toby.
Keep listening. Huzzah.